Welcome to another In Wheel Time podcast, a 30-minute mini version of the In Wheel Time car show that airs live every Saturday morning, 8 to 11 a.m. Central. From the Sugar Shack Studios in Texas, USA, it is the In Wheel Time car talk show. Coming up, Randy Bortcharding, Paint House, he's going to be with us. Jeff has a segment on debunking the 7 biggest myths about car tires. Okay. Conrad has the racing calendar and the car clinic, and later we'll have the stories making automotive news headlines. Just ahead on this fresh edition of the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Howdy. Along with Mike out of this world, Mars.
Where is he?
King Conrad DeLong. We always need more Jeff Zekin. I'm Don Armstrong. We have our glasses. We are ready for today's
eclipse. Annular.
Annular
eclipse.
Well, I'm glad you pronounced that right, because that could go really wrong real fast.
Right off the bat.
I have a feeling it's going to be one of those kind of shows, don't you?
When do we take these off? I can't see.
They're all one of those kind of shows.
Well, they are in a way. Yes, they are. So we can take our glasses off now.
Okay.
Because I have to tell you.
I don't know.
Thank you, Jeff.
Might be better off to keep them.
Well, it may be.
Let's see how the show goes.
Randy's going, what are these guys doing?
I know. Well, we can't help. We can't help ourselves.
Put your glasses on, Randy.
Yeah. Randy, do you have glasses?
Yeah, he's got them on.
I do.
You got them? Not those glasses. I'm talking about your Eclipse glasses.
Oh. No, I don't.
So
That's what we got welding shields for.
Oh, welding shields.
There you go.
Okay.
We'll do that next time.
All right. Well, anyway, thank you for being with us this morning, and we're going to we're going to do that. I did want to start off with UAW news. Ford now has more workers on strike than General Motors and Stellantis, even though it has offered the highest pay among the 3 automakers. The escalating work stoppage, which began September 15th, was meant to keep Ford Motor Company, General Motors, and Stellantis off balance. But UAW President Shawn Fain said the companies had grown complacent with his regular cadence of weekly updates. That's why Fain played one of his biggest remaining cards last week, abruptly shutting down Ford's largest and most profitable assembly operation, the Kentucky Truck Plant in Louisville. Halting output from Kentucky Truck carries huge financial consequences for Ford. The plant generates roughly $25 billion in annual revenue.
Wow.
With, get this, 8,700 hourly workers building Super Duty pickups and 2 large SUVs, the Expedition and the Lincoln Navigator. Ow!
1,070. So I'm going to destroy the companies I work for.
Pretty much.
That's his intent.
Yeah, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me.
Nope.
So at what point do you say, I think that we're just going to
build it all in Mexico?
Build it all. Yeah, well that would be Ford's answer, I guess.
Right, that was their answer. That's why they shut the Kentucky Truck Plant down.
So there was also talk that the strike would have leaning toward ending by last week, by actually Friday. There was rumors that it could happen. I know we talked about it, but it didn't happen.
Well, Ford had made some pretty significant concessions at a level that would have been very detrimental to both GM and Stellantis, and the UAW still didn't take them. Ford understands how to, my opinion, play the game much better than GM and Stellantis does. Ford gave in with some pretty good concessions, and the UAW said, "Yep, not enough. We want more."
Yeah. What are they asking for? A 40% raise?
Yep.
40%.
Well, remember, a 40% raise.
I know.
And a 32-hour week, 20% reduction in the work week.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Which I think I said this last week, only means that they're still going to work the same amount of hours, just they're going to get an extra 8 hours of overtime.
Right.
That's going to raise the price of everything.
Yeah, everything. And I've got a follow-up story that I'll read later on about the fallout with all of the suppliers, because they're starting now to really start to lay off.
You said there was 1,007 employees on strike?
No, at the Kentucky plant.
At the Kentucky plant.
At the Kentucky plant,
1,000.
8,700 hourly workers.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, my bad.
8,000 at the Kentucky
He's doing the
plant.
calculations on that.
Well, I was just thinking if it's $100 an hour loaded rate, insurance and wages, and all,
800,000.
that means the company is actually not spending $800,700 per hour. They're actually putting that in their pocket, even though they're not making cars. I got it. I understand that, but they're saving $800,000 an hour.
And I believe that plant's a 2-shift plant. It's not a 3-shift plant. It's a 2-shift plant.
Wow.
So they're running 16 hours a day.
Yeah, I don't know. There's so many things that are involved in one worker at one plant. You just don't know what all is involved in building a truck in this case.
It's about $12 million a day they're not spending.
I understand what you're saying, but like I've said, it's not just the workers at the factory. It is also all of the workers downstream or upstream, if you will.
Right.
Because of just-in-time inventory. So all of those tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3 vendors that are delivering product to the assembly plant for production, they're all going to go out of business as well. Or
That's it.
layoff,
Yeah, because those guys run on much tighter margins.
They're the ones that are hurting.
And most of them, tier 2, tier 3, are not UAW. Tier 1, a lot of tier 1 is UAW.
But it doesn't make any difference.
Right.
Yeah, if they're not building cars. Well, at any rate, we'll talk about more of that later on in the show or throughout the show. Let me put it that way. We got 3 hours coming your way, and we're going to start this morning's conversation with Randy Bortcharding, who owns a company called PaintHouse. And it's a very high-end custom car builder, maker, painter, fixer,
Fabricator.
do-all.
Yeah.
How was that? Have you ever been...
You ever been called a do-all?
Can you put all of that on a business card?
Gonna need a bigger wallet.
Yeah, and a bigger wallet, yeah.
To put the business cards in.
How are you?
Oh, we're fine. Enjoying this weather. Thank God it finally got here.
Yeah, amen to that.
Does it
It has
impact?
been-
Does it impact? I know it impacts just the technicians' work in the shop. Does it impact your ability to paint the high ambient temperatures?
Absolutely. You got to Thank God I live on the property, because I'll come out and paint at 1, 2, 3 in the morning versus in 115, 120 degrees in the booth. And even then, it's still back over the course of the summer. It was 95 at nighttime.
Yes.
It never cooled off.
That's correct.
So it was just less of a bad thing is what it became. And you just deal with it. You know, they've got special reducers and
Yes,
things
exactly.
that help you. But
Randy,
nonetheless, go
how
ahead.
often are you in the paint booth on a week?
Some weeks not at all. To do an actual paint job on a project, we're not a production shop, so that might happen once every 3 or 4 months. However, there's always lots of other things to spray.
Yes.
Primers, sealers. That happens way more than painting does, but I guess it's part of painting. It's
Yeah.
spraying a product. And those can be trickier than the actual color and clear coat because of their solid contents. They don't like the heat. They don't behave well.
So, just for those that don't know, I mean, what you're talking about is beyond a primer on the body. You're talking about a primer filler kind of deal.
Sealer.
Correct.
And a sealer.
You've got primers that, like, we use an epoxy primer on the bare metal. That's our foundation.
Right.
It's not so heat sensitive. But when you get into the thicker primer fillers, primer surfacers that you would block sand
Yeah.
to smooth the body, because they're so high in solids, when it's so hot and humid, you really got to know how to handle the chemistry so that you don't get into solvent popping and trapping and things that can wreak havoc later on in the paint job. You may not see it right away. It may show up later. And then you got a real problem that's very expensive to fix.
Do you have that happen to you every once in a while?
Once in a while, yeah, it does.
Yeah.
You follow all the rules, and still you get a curveball every now and then, and it's not inexpensive. particularly at this, sort of this level of the game, if that's the right way to put it.
No, well, yeah, for you, I mean, you are definitely top tier. Battle of the Builders winner at SEMA. You're recognized not only by the local people who know who you are and what you do, you're recognized by industry leaders for who you are and what you do and the quality of work that you do.
Yeah, I appreciate you saying that. It's my guys. We have a great team here.
How many guys do you have in there?
Myself and 3 others. There were 4. We recently had a fella leave and go back to his former career in the diesel industry. So if there's someone out there looking, I'd love to hire the right person. It's just hard to find that good fit.
Yep.
Randy, Jen's involved in this, isn't she?
Yeah, she handles a lot of the bookkeeping and the stuff that keeps us in business.
The paint prep.
Putting the money in the bank when it comes in and making sure it goes to the right people when it goes out.
Yeah.
And getting insurance and the stuff I don't want to do and I'm not good at doing.
Yeah.
It's the necessity.
Well, so she's actually part of the team too.
Oh, indeed.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Yeah.
So in that sense, there's 4 of us.
Well, let's talk just for a minute about the prep. We hear all the time, and we kind of touched on it just a minute ago. We hear all the time that it's all in the prep. It's kind of like going for a colonoscopy, kind of.
Oh, Lord.
In a bizarre way, maybe
Truly bizarre.
Yeah, but
it's true in the sense that these cars can be a pain in the ass.
Oh, ba-dum-ching.
Touche.
Yeah, good one. But it truly is, and it really starts with the actual primer on the bare metal, because if you don't have that contact, that adherence from the primer to the metal, the whole thing could go south real quick.
Absolutely. That step, that first cleaning of the metal, prepping of the metal, and the product that goes on the metal, if that's not right, none of the rest of it matters.
Yeah, ask anybody who owns a white Chevrolet pickup truck or van through the years where the paint just peels off.
In big chunks.
Late 80s, early 90s.
Right.
I remember those, yes, sir.
Yeah.
Randy, do you take them all down to bare metal?
Yes.
Just so that you get everything?
We occasionally paint over existing products, particularly if it's a repair of some kind. However, almost every time we get bitten in the arse by some problem, some hidden problem, some unknown problem that would have been corrected had we stripped the area.
So tell us about your affection for rancheros, because I see another one behind you. I know you had was that a 70 that you took to SEMA a couple of years ago?
71 went to SEMA. This is a 72, which was the change in the body style to the Starsky and Hutch front end, if you will. Mm-hmm. This is we'll call it a survivor, a patina car or truck, whatever. Is it a car or a truck? We don't know.
It's whatever you want it to be.
351 Cleveland, the 4-barrel version. This is a Ranchero GT, so it had the higher end engine, the 4-speed, positive traction rear, no air conditioning. It was a neat package.
And the reflective stripes.
The reflective stripes. Just it's a interesting truck, whatever it is. It's going to be fun, but we've kept the original finish on it. We'll just polish it up. The engine's been gone through, just added a mild little sound system to the interior, rewiring the car, just getting the foundation reestablished, and then it's just going to be a fun driver.
Randy, when you paint these cars, and we'll just use that one as an example, how do you get into where the door meets the jamb, up there where the fender, the interconnection there between the fender and the door? How do you paint that? Do you paint it with the doors off?
Absolutely. We always paint the vehicle taken apart.
Okay. Do you take the fenders? Is that the same holds true with the fenders? I mean, you take the fenders off and paint them separately too?
Yeah. Yes, sir. I'll walk you over here and show you. So you'll see the pieces here. We've got doors, fenders. This is 68 Cutlass we're doing.
Right.
They're off the car. we'll walk over here to where the car is. It's a little crowded at the moment.
Well, what about the
But
bolts?
here's the body.
Do you paint the bolts too, or no?
Oh no. Everything is done apart, so there's no bolts involved. For example, this one, we've replaced that quarter panel. We've got the car in epoxy primer. This is the foundational primer that we talked about. It's on a Morrison chassis. On top of this primer is where everything happens. The body work that will happen, the priming, the block sanding. Anytime we break through and expose metal again, that epoxy primer is reapplied in that area. So we do it the same day, literally within minutes if we can. I do not want to let any rust or humidity start.
Well, yeah, in Houston, humidity is so damaging to vehicles
Yeah,
and paint systems.
I said that incorrectly. Yeah, you can't stop the humidity from starting. It started.
Right.
You just don't want the rust to start because there's wet air floating around it, literally, in our climate.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we are, excuse the reference again, we are anal about keeping the metal protected from day one.
Okay, so what other cars do you have in there besides the Ranchero?
Well, this Cutlass, obviously, we've previously seen a El Camino that I'll walk over to. So it's kind of Chevy's version of the car truck.
By the way, while you're walking over there, I have to ask you, you are going to SEMA, aren't you?
I am not this year. I'm skipping it.
Really?
Tell him where you're going.
Why is that?
Well, the car we had planned to take is not making it out of upholstery jail. And it would probably be here at the last minute, and I'm not in the mood for a week of all-nighters just to get to a show. I've done that. It's proven to be a good thing, but I'm 57 years old, and I don't want to do it anymore.
Well, I don't blame you.
So we're going to skip, and we'll go next year. We should have 3 cars available next year. Hopefully they'll all get to go. And we're going to go to the best-named state in the union, Idaho, and hang out with a customer friend who has a beautiful property up there. I'm taking the guys from the shop and my 2 sons and just going to do a boys trip and do whatever boys do in Idaho.
Hunt and camp and fish.
Oh, yeah.
All of that.
And,
Yeah.
and,
All of that.
and a little brown water.
Uh-huh.
Or a lot of
Perhaps,
brown water.
Yeah.
A little hiking.
Indeed.
So is that a
Hiking.
64 or 65 El Camino?
65. It's also on a Morrison chassis. We've had the hood modified, and it'll have some custom inserts, which sort of emulates what was in the 67 SS hoods,
Right.
but it never came on this body style. So it'll be an interesting
Blend.
effect. Hopefully look kind of OEM, but people may look at it and go, was that like that or not?
Yeah, I don't
And that's
remember seeing that before. That's what
Yeah.
I think.
That's always my goal, is to do something that makes you think twice or come back a second or third time to look at the car, but it doesn't ruin what's right about the car.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to start searching for you a Chevelle 2-door wagon and see if I
Yeah, those are
can
bad.
figure out where one of those are.
I
'cause
want one.
That
There
seems
used
like
to
it'd
be
be
one
in your
down in
wheelhouse.
Galveston, but I haven't seen it in years.
Yeah,
I like those.
They
Is it
were-
kind of
I'll
like
tell you
the
what,
pie wagon?
yeah. Well, yeah, they were actually built by Chevrolet for the U.S. Air Force, and
Yeah,
sold
I've seen
directly to
several
the
of
Air
them
Force.
out. Seen several of them in the hot rod world.
Yeah,
Pontiac makes a
The
nice one,
two-door Malibu wagons are
Yep.
very cool.
right. Yeah, it's not a panel. It's got all the glass and
Yep.
everything.
Well, Randy, it's
Cool.
always great to talk to you, my friend. We thank you very much.
I have a question though, Randy.
Well, wait a minute.
Yeah,
No, you
sorry.
don't have time for a question. You've
Oh,
waited
then-
till the last second.
Then I'm going to send him a text.
Where's the
When you're
Corvette?
not looking.
All right.
Where's the Corvette? You done with that?
The 69,
Yeah.
the blue one, we are not done. It's over in the other shop. I was afraid the call would drop if I walked over there. It's waiting to be wired. That's its next goal. And then off to upholstery.
And
Upholstery jail.
Which, well, hopefully not. This one hasn't committed any crimes that I'm aware of, so it should not need to stay in jail, I hope. These things change,
done.
though. It's a
Anybody
fluid
else
process.
with any other questions, Mr. Mars?
No. I was just going to ask him if he was taking 3 or 4 cars next year to SEMA if he needed some help, an additional crew.
I see.
But I'll ask him offline since we don't have time to ask him right now.
But because you're going to have to probably glom on to something else to be able to go because, his truck's going to be full of cars. Just saying.
Well, I just
Well,
thought maybe he
if you're-
needed somebody to help wipe him down when he got there or something.
Yeah.
If you're volunteering, we can talk.
Randy, we
time.
love you, man. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate you and hope to see you soon.
Yes, sir. Thanks, guys. Take
All right.
care.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Randy Bortcharding.
It's always fun to talk.
I know.
to.
Love talking to Randy. Okay. Time now for the In Wheel Time race card. And the race card is sponsored by Texas Nostalgia Modified Production.
All right.
And racing is coming to an end. NHRA is up in Ennis this weekend.
At the Texas Motor
At the-
Speedway.
at-
no,
No, at Ennis. And
Texas
Motorplex.
Motorplex, thank you.
then NASCAR's in Vegas this weekend. Next weekend, they're in Homestead. And then they're back in Martinsville. And then the finale, November 5th in Phoenix. Formula One is in Coda next weekend. Mexico on the 29th, Mexico City on the 29th, Brazil on 11/5, Las Vegas on November 19th, and that's the first time they'll race. And they're racing the streets of Las Vegas. That
Yeah.
should be pretty cool. I think that's going to be an interesting play on how do they shut down the streets of Las Vegas and run 200 miles an hour down the strip or down the
Whatever road,
down the
yeah.
main.
Probably
the
they got a
main
lot of
street.
4-lane roads, so I could see where they could do the speed, but like you say, shutting it down could be an interesting trick.
And then this weekend, as well as the finale for IMSA. And so with the Cadillac DPI cars and kind of the final run for the Corvette in IMSA as well, because that class is going away. And it's going to be kind of
The
Corvettes.
Corvette's moving to some other class or something.
GT4.
There you go. There you go.
But they're kind of going to be their swan song at IMSA. Hopefully they can pull it off and win. But that's racing this week.
All right. And by the way, on television, NHRA qualifying Sunday afternoon, beginning at noon on FS1, and then the finals are following that at 5 on FS1 on Sunday. No, not 5, at 3. So it's at noon and then noon and 2, whatever. It's on FS1. Go
Be there.
there if you dare. I refuse to pay for it, so I'm not doing it. Time now for Jeff's feature. This week it's debunking 7 myths about car tires.
7 myths. I get this all the time. What about this? What about that? Well, tires are one of the most important components of any vehicle, but plenty of passenger tires myths need debunking. And all new cars come with a spare tire? Not necessarily. It used to be standard practice for cars to come equipped with a spare tire, stored in the trunk, of course. However, around about 1 in every 3 cars sold do not have a spare tire. Instead of a spare, many cars come up with an emergency tire inflation kit containing sealant, air compressor, and temporary seal patches. That's common practice nowadays, so be careful. If you're looking for one, ask your dealer. The digits on the sidewall show tire pressure. Well, not necessarily. Some drivers mistakenly believe that the series of digits molded into the sidewall of their tires indicate the correct inflation pressure. Not necessarily true. Sidewall digits actually provide the tire size specification, maximum inflation pressure rating, not the recommended pressure for your vehicle's tire. So be careful. Do not read that and think, oh, that's what it needs to be, because it's not. Look at the placard on your vehicle. Look at the manual. Call your dealer. Call a tire store. They'll be able to help you. All-season tires work in all conditions. Don't be misled by the name. All-season tires are not optimized for year-round performance in every condition. All-season tires provide decent traction across a range of conditions, similar to a Swiss Army knife. A lot of other things going on with that tire build. However, all-season tread rubber stiffens dramatically, Mike. So be careful.
Well, I'm kind of wondering about that
Yeah.
because kind of assumed that's what all season meant.
Well, in optimum conditions.
Another myth debunked.
Another myth debunked.
Been debunked.
Tire performance does not depend on materials. The quality and performance of a tire depends on many complex factors, including a variety of materials used in the construction. Modern passenger tires contain over 200 different raw ingredients. Synthetics, natural rubber compounds, steel, nylon, silica, so on and so on, even black carbon. That's where you get the blackness of the tire. So there you go. The next one to be debunked would be, should you drive on flat tires? Well, pneumatic tires all share a common enemy, and it's called the nail. While it is true you should not drive on a flat tire, that may no longer be a worthy cause. Revolutionary airless tire technology from companies like Michelin and Goodyear aims to eliminate flat tires and blowouts entirely. Michelin has an Uptis airless tire replacement, which is a flexible tire. It's a thermoplastic spokes that absorb impacts. This allows the tire to avoid typical punctures and maintaining a good, smooth ride for the vehicle.
Hey, let me ask a question while you're talking about that.
Yep.
Run flats. A lot of cars come with run flat tires,
Sure.
which are kind of an emergency. You can run on a flat tire to get off the road.
Right, for a short distance.
Yeah. Are they repairable, a run flat, like a regular tire is, where you can patch up a hole in it?
You could probably do it once and maybe not get away with it for very long, but it's not really designed for that. You probably could. I'll say.
But a run flat, typically you should replace it. You should repair
right.
it. Okay.
And now, if you put a plug patch in, it actually lowers the rating of the tire every time you plug it. It lowers it down on the spectrum. So the next one would be passenger tires. Are they the same as race car tires? Are they similar? If you think that tires on your Camry or your F-150 resemble those of a Formula One or NASCAR race car, think again. High-performance racing tires are engineered for maximum grip, speed, and durability. Pirelli, when I worked for Pirelli, they always had the point of their engineering for the road came from racing. Well, it is true, but they're not really the same. So the last one to be debunked are EV tires, or EVs don't need special tires. Well, they do. Believe it or not, Tesla and other electric vehicles require specialized tires developed specifically for their unique characteristics. The heavy battery, that's the whole impact of that, Conrad. The heavy battery, which means the EV, more weight pressing down on the EV tires. EVs also deliver instantaneous maximum torque to the wheels and increasing tire wear. So there you have it.
That's another one of those things that doesn't get advertised with EVs is some of those special things you got to worry about.
And the cost. Don brought that up too with the cost of it not very long ago, a week or so ago.
$900 for one tire on an EV, a Tesla that had a flat. All right, well, the In-Wheel Time Car Talk show is available 24/7 through the iHeartRadio app. Just look for In-Wheel Time Car Talk. We also video stream on Facebook, YouTube, and InWheelTime.com. Podcasts at your fingertips on over a dozen of the most popular podcast outlets. The In-Wheel Time Car Talk show will continue right after this quick break.
Rogers Dabbs Chevrolet and GM Performance has the absolute best price that you're going to find on GM parts, transmissions, and engines in the country. With the largest inventory as well that you're going to find in the U.S., Rogers Dabbs Chevrolet and GM Performance has what you need and has the best customer service to back it up. Contact one of our Texas team members for quotes and get that on your dock or at your front door as soon as possible. Rogers Dabbs GM Performance. Best inventory, best prices that you're going to find in the United States. Rogers Dabbs GM Performance.
The original group of Loopy Tortilla restaurants will have you telling your family and friends just what the original recipes mean when it comes to the best fajitas in Southeast Texas. Founder Stan Holt invites you to visit the original Loopy Tortilla near I-10 and Highway 6. Here's the original house that inspired the design of all the rest and the original charm that helped make Loopy Tortilla the go-to destination for Houston Tex-Mex. Speaking of original, nothing can compete with the original lime pepper marinade that everyone will agree makes Loopy Tortilla award-winning beef fajitas the best anywhere. Loopy Tortilla Katy is another location that gives you the same quality and service Houstonians have come to expect at Loopy's. It's located just off I-10 and the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard in Katy. Find yourself in Aggieland? Head to the Loopy Tortilla in College Station, located just around the corner from Kyle Field. It's a great place to enjoy those famous frozen margaritas before or after the game. Headed east to Louisiana, stop in at the Loopy Tortilla in Beaumont. It too's on I-10. You can't miss it. The original group of Loopy Tortilla restaurants invites you in for the best Tex-Mex anywhere. Houston's finest cars are invited to another Gulf Coast Auto Shield Car Social, Saturday, December 2nd, and you're invited too. Show off your personal pride and joy, or just stop in to see the likes of Lucid, Lamborghini, Porsche, Ferrari, and more. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is your one-stop shop for paint detailing, coatings, window tint, clear bras, and wheel repair. The Car Social is your opportunity to get a tour of this state-of-the-art facility located at 11275 South Sam Houston Parkway, just south of the Southwest Freeway. It all takes place Saturday, December 2nd, 9 to noon. This is the perfect opportunity to connect with other car enthusiasts. From BMWs to Bentleys, Corvettes to McLarens, the Car Social is a different kind of show. Talk to the owners. See Gulf Coast Auto Shield's facility. You'll be amazed. Put it on your calendar now. The Gulf Coast Auto Shield Car Social, Saturday, December 2nd, 9 to noon at 11275 South Sam Houston Parkway, just south of the Southwest Freeway. The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show will be there too. We'll see you then. That's it for this podcast episode of the In Wheel Time Car Show. I'm Don Armstrong, inviting you to join us for our live show every Saturday morning, 8 to 11 a.m. Central on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and our InWheelTime.com website. Podcasts are available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeart Podcast, Podcast Addict, TuneIn, Pandora, and Amazon Music. Keep listening, and we'll see you soon.